Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Lumberjack Man. This Lent, they're giving up their lives.
Directed by Josh Baer, starring Michael Madsen, Ciara Flynn, and Adam Sessler, Lumberjack Man is about a group of camp counselors in training going to a Bible camp. Once there, they're stalked by a demon logger who's risen from the sap barrel that he died in to wreak vengeance and eat flapjacks soaked in the blood of his victims. So what do we like?
This film was loaded with TNA.
This is what we're starting with?
We are definitely starting with this because it is not hidden in this film, and it was fantastic. Like, we had montages, like slowed down stripping scenes in this film.
One girl like just starts rubbing lotion on her body for like 5 minutes. You know, when it comes to slasher movies and like especially like 80s style slasher movies, TNA is what kind of breaks up some of the slower parts, and it did its job here, for sure. And because like half the time you're like, oh my god, all these women are gorgeous, by the way. All of them. Everyone is so good looking. It was also great that we had tons of practical effects. We had lots of blood all over the place. And there's just like tons of variety when it came to kills, because I don't know, like 20 to 30 people die, and you see most of them on screen. If not, you do see the aftermath, so there's tons of bloodshed.
They were kind of making fun of the genre, especially with the nudity and how the kills were happening, but a lot of how the characters were interacting with each other.
Yeah.
The buddy duo, the conversations and the banter they had were like just spot on, and they just fed off of each other, and it was hilarious.
And I think like almost every one of their lines was improv, and that kind of carried on throughout the film. I mean, a lot of people just kind of went on these seemingly improvised rants, and it was just hilarious. This could be just like a big tip of the hat to all the actors for acting so naturally. And like the writing, I have no idea who I'm supposed to be complimenting here, but somebody did a great job with the delivery of lines.
I mean, between Adam Sessler being the camp leader and really awkward in every moment.
Oh god.
That was really hilarious in itself.
To see him in this movie, I just lost my shit, because like Attack of the Show's been off the air for a while. I miss him.
Yeah, they really pulled up some interesting characters for this. I mean, we got a porn star, we got a guy who does game reviews, but one that I found out afterwards, we got 2 voice actors in here from Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Chris Sabat is Shep. I'm sitting here, I'm like, this guy is like the badass Vegeta, he's Piccolo, and in this film, he's just walking around being a goofy, like, partner.
Possibly my least favorite character in the entire film. His acting was under 9,000. I did want to mention the production value because it's worth mentioning. Everything looked really great. They had some great Steadicam work and crane shots and all these little like cool camera moves that I just think were really interesting. Going back to the acting for a minute, these guys deserve props. Michael Madsen, he had some amazing one-liners, and again, he was one of those guys that you think was just coming off the top.
You're both gonna die.
Ciara Flynn, who played our final girl, she was great, beautiful, and she delivered her lines well. And Jarrett King, who was our chef of the movie, Reggie.
He'd walk into rooms and just be like, yeah, I'll wingman ya.
Well, I'm gonna go have a look around. Y'all keep an eye open for him.
Now, this film did have a lot of montages to it. It felt like music video scenes for the most part, but one in particular, where 3 people were partying. That song was so catchy and so much fun. Like, I was rocking out to it.
I wanted Bacardi Breezers.
Yeah.
And now what didn't we like? I wasn't a big fan of the Lumberjack Man and his pancake fetish. He carried around all of these pancakes for the whole movie, and they're just big, stupid looking pancakes. It's based around a lumberjack who likes flapjacks covered in blood, and it's stupid as fuck. There's a huge pancake undertone.
They're playing off the idea of it's Lent, it's Shrove Tuesday, so of course we're gonna have pancakes for dinner. The whole pun of this is really lame. Like, and if I'm saying that, you know it's lame.
I really didn't like the flow of the movie, and usually it's the beginning is slow, the middle is slow. This time, the end was slow. Everything was great. up until the last act, and it just went on forever, and it was just pretty boring. Nothing really happened. They just kind of like walked around. But that's not to say that we didn't like the syrup-drenched final girl. We're fine with that. But I will say that one of the stills that they released for the film does not happen in the movie. There's not a syrup-drenched woman with a buzzsaw. That doesn't happen in the movie.
Though I appreciate the cameos of 2 voice actors in this film, the park rangers were just filler. And it was a lot of filler that we got that we didn't need. They definitely had a lot of scenes that didn't need to be in this film that probably could have cut the time down about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that would have helped out with some of the pacing, especially if you trimmed it directly off of the end of the movie. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Lumberjack Man, as shitty of a title as it may be, was actually a pretty good time. We had a blast watching it because the characters are likable, it's shot well, there's lots of blood, and there's lots of TNA. This is not one of those movies that you need to think about. Leave your brain at the door, grab some drinks, get your buddies over, and watch a film. I didn't like the underlying motive because it's like a pretty shitty joke. However, it could have been worse. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 wingmen letting their birds fly out of 5.
Sometimes you gotta fly on your own, little birdie.
Lumberjack Man was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It had some really funny moments, a lot of TNA, and some cool practical effects. The characters were not just likable, but they all delivered their lines perfectly as actors. The only downside I have is the pacing of the film was very off. It was upbeat and entertaining for the first half, and then in the final arc, it just kind of dragged along and you're just waiting for it to end. But the film is very funny, and I think if you're just gonna sit down and watch with your friends, you're gonna have a blast. So that being said, I'm gonna give this film 3.5 reverse Horatios out of 5.
You don't know what meatloaf is.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film. If you haven't seen it, check out the description. We've got links where you can find it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our reactions, reviews, and games of What Would You Do?